Someone finally told your soulmate the truth about your hidden pain, and their reaction was unexpected. My beloved child, don't skip, stay till the end, because something huge is waiting, because someone finally told your soulmate the truth about the pain you kept hidden behind your strongest smile. And the moment they heard it, something inside them changed. They suddenly understood why you became quiet when you had so much to say, why you sometimes pulled away when your heart actually wanted closeness, and why you kept saying you were fine when deep inside you were carrying emotions nobody could see. But here is what shocked them most: you never wanted anyone to rescue you. You only wanted the person connected to your heart to notice what you could never bring yourself to explain. Don't skip, because their reaction was nothing like anyone expected. They didn't dismiss it. They didn't forget it. They went silent and started replaying every moment with you, realizing that some of your smallest actions had been hiding the biggest truths. Then one memory returned so clearly that they could not shake it. A moment when you looked at them differently, almost as if your eyes were trying to say what your voice couldn't. Back then, they overlooked it. Now they understand that something deeper was happening inside you. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate began connecting everything: the pauses, the distance, the change in your energy, the things you almost said but stopped yourself from saying. And suddenly one question started repeating inside their mind: how much were they carrying while I had no idea? That question hit harder than the truth itself. Because they realized your silence was never emptiness. It was filled with feelings you had protected for far too long. And once they understood that, they could no longer see your connection the same way. But this is where the revelation becomes even bigger. The person who exposed your hidden pain did not reveal everything. One final truth was deliberately left unsaid, and your soulmate immediately sensed it. Don't skip. They now know there is another piece of your story. Something connected to the exact reason you changed, the reason you became more guarded, and the reason this connection still feels unfinished. Instead of pushing them away, the truth made them want to understand you more deeply than before. And now they cannot stop wondering what they missed. Something huge is waiting for you, because the final secret is not simply about what hurt you. It is about what you secretly hoped your soulmate would understand without you ever having to say it. And when they finally discover that truth, their next reaction could change everything. Something your soulmate heard next changed the entire meaning of your silence. They were told that your hidden pain was never about wanting attention, it was about how deeply you felt things you rarely spoke about. Suddenly, they remembered the moments when you could have explained yourself but chose silence instead. They remembered how your energy changed after certain conversations, how you became distant without becoming cold, and how you continued caring even when part of you felt unseen. Don't skip, because this is where their reaction became completely unexpected. Instead of questioning your feelings, they started questioning their own understanding. How had they missed something so important? How many times had you been standing right in front of them, carrying emotions they never recognized? And then they heard one sentence that stayed in their mind: there were things they wanted you to notice without having to ask. That realization hit differently, because your soulmate finally understood that some of your quietest moments were actually your loudest emotional signals. But what happened inside them afterward was even more surprising. They began remembering details they had almost forgotten. The way you paused before answering certain questions, the way your expression changed when particular subjects came up, and the moments when you seemed ready to reveal something before suddenly holding it back. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, because one memory now stands above all the others. Your soulmate remembers a specific moment when you were unusually quiet around them. At the time, they assumed you simply needed space. Now they are wondering whether that was the exact moment your heart was waiting for them to notice something deeper. And once that thought entered their mind, it refused to leave. They started realizing that perhaps they had been reading your silence completely wrong. What they once interpreted as distance may actually have been disappointment. What they thought was emotional strength may sometimes have been you protecting feelings you were afraid would never be understood. And now there is one question they desperately want answered: what happened inside your heart during that moment? Here is the part nobody expected: there is still something your soulmate has not been told. The person who revealed your hidden pain stopped just before exposing the most important piece. Don't skip, because this missing truth connects directly to your soulmate. It explains why their presence affected you differently, why certain moments between you stayed in your memory, and why you could never treat this connection like something ordinary. Your soulmate can sense that the unfinished truth involves them, and that realization has created an emotional pull they cannot easily ignore. They are beginning to understand that your hidden pain was only one layer of the story. Beneath it was something far deeper. An expectation you never spoke aloud, a feeling you protected, and one truth you hoped they would eventually recognize on their own. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. When your soulmate finally hears what was deliberately left unsaid, they may discover that the moment they thought meant almost nothing to you was actually the moment that changed everything inside your heart. What your soulmate discovered next made one forgotten moment suddenly feel impossible to ignore. They were finally told that there was a point when you almost revealed everything: your hidden pain, your true feelings, and the reason your energy had changed, but you stopped yourself at the last second. And when your soulmate heard why, they went completely quiet. You weren't waiting for perfect words. You were waiting for one small sign that they truly understood you. Don't skip, because this is where everything begins connecting. Your soulmate started remembering your expressions, your pauses, and those strange moments when the conversation ended but something still felt unfinished. Now they realize you may have been silently giving them chances to see beyond the surface. And suddenly, one particular memory is standing out from all the rest, a moment they once considered ordinary, but now understand may have meant far more to you than they ever imagined. Then came the revelation they were completely unprepared for. Someone explained that after that moment, you began protecting your feelings differently. You didn't stop caring, you simply stopped showing everything. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate now understands why certain conversations felt different afterward and why there were times when you seemed emotionally present yet strangely guarded. They had assumed you were moving away from the connection, but now they are wondering whether you were actually waiting to see if they would move closer. That possibility has shaken their entire interpretation of your story. They keep replaying one question: was there something I was supposed to understand? And the more they think about it, the more one answer keeps returning: you never needed a grand gesture. You needed proof that the feelings you protected so carefully were safe enough to be seen. But there is another twist, and this one goes deeper than everything they have heard so far. Don't skip. Your soulmate has now learned that someone witnessed a side of you they never saw, a moment when your usual strength disappeared and your true emotions briefly surfaced. What was said during that moment has not yet been revealed to them, but they know it exists. And now they want the truth more than ever. Something huge is waiting for you, because this missing piece could explain why your connection never completely disappeared from their mind. It could explain why certain memories still return unexpectedly and why your silence now feels completely different to them. Your soulmate thought they were discovering the story of your hidden pain, but they are beginning to realize they may actually be discovering the truth about what they meant to you. And when the final words from that private moment are revealed, everything they believed about your feelings could change at once. Then the final missing piece surfaced, and your soulmate was not prepared for what it revealed. The person who knew about your hidden pain explained that even during your most emotional moments, you never spoke about your soulmate with bitterness. Instead, you kept wondering whether they would ever understand what you could not say directly. Don't skip, because this changed everything inside them. They had expected to hear that you had simply stopped caring, but the truth pointed somewhere completely different. Your silence had never erased the connection. You had simply become more careful with the part of your heart that felt misunderstood. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate suddenly remembered one moment when you looked completely normal on the outside, yet something about your eyes felt different. They ignored that feeling then. Now they cannot stop thinking about it. What if that was the moment you needed them to notice? What if the smallest moment they overlooked was actually one of the biggest moments for you? And then came the detail that turned their surprise into something much deeper. They learned that you had once been extremely close to telling them everything. You had almost explained what was hurting, why you became guarded, and what you secretly hoped they would understand. But something made you stop. Don't skip. Your soulmate immediately wanted to know what stopped you, because that answer could completely change how they remember the past. And when they finally heard it, everything became clear. You were afraid that explaining too much would make something deeply meaningful feel forced. You wanted understanding that came naturally. You wanted to know whether they could recognize the change in you without being handed every answer. That realization stayed with your soulmate because now they understand something they missed before. You were not testing them. You were watching quietly to see whether this connection was emotionally real enough to notice what words were failing to express. And now they are replaying every missed signal with completely different eyes. But something even bigger remains, because learning about your hidden pain has awakened a realization your soulmate can no longer push aside. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. They now know the story was never only about what you carried, it was also about what remained unfinished between you. There is still one question they cannot answer. If they had understood you sooner, how different would everything have become? That question has opened a door they thought was closed. Your soulmate is beginning to see your silence not as an ending, but as an unanswered chapter. And the most unexpected part is that the truth has not made them forget you, it has made them understand you in a way they never did before. Now one thought keeps returning stronger than all the others. Perhaps the connection they once misunderstood deserves to be looked at again. Don't skip what comes next, because the biggest revelation is no longer about your past. It is about what your soulmate may feel compelled to do after finally understanding the truth, and that could become the moment neither of you saw coming. Now everything your soulmate has learned is leading toward one realization they can no longer ignore. The truth about your hidden pain did more than change their understanding of the past, it changed the way they see you right now. Don't skip, because this is where their unexpected reaction becomes even more powerful. They are no longer asking why you became quiet. They are asking why they failed to recognize what your silence was trying to communicate. Memories that once seemed insignificant suddenly feel incredibly important. A look you gave them. A conversation that ended too quickly. A moment when you almost said something and then changed the subject. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate now realizes that your strongest moments may have been the moments when you were carrying the most, and that realization has created a feeling they did not expect, an intense desire to understand the version of you that remained hidden from everyone else. But one thought keeps returning, and it is becoming impossible for them to dismiss. What if I still have something important to understand? Don't skip. That question has completely shifted their perspective. Before learning the truth, they could explain away the unfinished feeling between you. Now they cannot. They understand that you were never asking for perfection. You wanted sincerity, emotional awareness, and the feeling that someone could recognize your heart without forcing you to explain every hidden layer. And suddenly, your soulmate sees something extraordinary. They may have been closer to understanding you than they realized. There were moments when they sensed something beneath your words but ignored their intuition. Now those moments are returning with unbelievable clarity. Something huge is waiting for you, because there is one particular memory they keep replaying, and this time they are noticing a detail they completely missed before. That tiny detail could explain why your connection stayed in their thoughts long after everything became quiet. And here comes the revelation that changes the direction of the entire story. Your soulmate is beginning to realize that hearing about your hidden pain was not the ending they expected. It became the beginning of questions they desperately want answered. Stay till the end. They want to know what you almost told them. They want to understand what that forgotten moment truly meant. Most of all, they want to know whether the emotional door between you ever completely closed. Don't skip, because something huge is waiting for you. The person who revealed your pain has one final detail left, and this detail is not about what happened to you. It is about something your soulmate once did without realizing how deeply it affected your heart. They thought it was a small moment. You remembered it differently. And when your soulmate finally discovers why that single moment mattered so much, they may understand the one truth that has been hiding underneath this entire story, the truth about why, despite all the silence, this connection never felt completely finished. And now the smallest moment has become the biggest revelation of all. Your soulmate finally learned what they once did that stayed with you far longer than they ever imagined. It wasn't some dramatic gesture. It was a simple moment when they made you feel truly seen, exactly when you had started believing nobody could understand what was happening inside you. Don't skip, because this is where everything changes. That moment became important to you because, for a few seconds, you felt you didn't have to hide behind strength. You felt understood without explaining every emotion. Your soulmate never knew how much that meant. But now that someone has told them, they are replaying that memory with completely different eyes. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. They finally understand why you remembered certain details, why their presence affected you differently, and why your silence afterward carried so much meaning. What surprised them even more was discovering that your hidden pain never erased that memory. In fact, it made that moment stand out even more. Don't skip. Your soulmate is beginning to understand that beneath everything you protected was one simple hope, that the person who once made you feel seen would eventually see you completely. And now they are wondering whether they recognized your heart once without even realizing it. That thought has created an unexpected emotional shift. Instead of looking only at what went wrong, they are remembering what felt real. The conversations that flowed naturally. The quiet moments that somehow meant more than the loud ones. The strange feeling that something important remained unfinished whenever you walked away. Something huge is waiting for you, because your soulmate has reached a realization they cannot easily forget. Maybe the connection stayed in their mind because there was always more beneath the surface than either of you managed to say. But the biggest surprise is still ahead. Stay till the end. Your soulmate now knows enough about your hidden pain to understand your silence, but there is one thing nobody can answer for them. What would happen if they finally stopped assuming and started seeing the connection for what it truly was? That question is becoming stronger every time they replay the truth. Don't skip, because this story is reaching a point where memories are no longer enough. Your soulmate is beginning to understand that the most important truth was never hidden inside one conversation. It was hidden inside everything that remained unsaid between you. And now one final realization is forming inside them, stronger than anything they expected when this truth was first revealed. They may have misunderstood your silence, but they no longer want to misunderstand what it meant. Something huge is waiting for you, because what they decide to do with this new understanding could reveal whether this unfinished chapter was truly an ending, or whether it was quietly waiting for a completely unexpected next page. What happened inside your soulmate after that realization was something nobody predicted. For the first time, they stopped looking at your silence as something that pushed them away and started seeing it as something they had never fully understood. Don't skip, because one memory suddenly returned stronger than all the others. It was a moment when you could have walked away emotionally, yet some part of you remained present. Back then, your soulmate never questioned it. Now they are asking themselves why. Why did you still care when you were carrying so much privately? Why did your eyes sometimes say more than your words? And why did certain moments between you feel unfinished even after the conversation ended? Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate has started realizing that perhaps your hidden pain was never the biggest secret. The biggest secret was how much you continued to feel while showing almost nothing. Then something even more unexpected clicked into place. Your soulmate remembered a tiny detail from one of your last meaningful moments together, something about the way you paused before leaving, as though there were words waiting behind your silence. Don't skip. They had forgotten that detail until hearing the truth about what you were carrying. Now it feels impossible to forget. Suddenly, they are wondering whether you were waiting for one question, one moment of understanding, one reason to finally reveal what you had protected for so long. And that thought has changed the emotional weight of everything. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. They now understand that sometimes the deepest feelings are not revealed through dramatic words. Sometimes they appear in hesitation, in a lingering glance, in the sentence someone almost says. Your soulmate is beginning to recognize those signs in memories they once considered ordinary, and every new realization is pointing toward the same unanswered truth. But here is where everything turns again. The person who revealed your hidden pain remembered something else. One sentence you once said when your soulmate was not there. Don't skip, because your soulmate has not heard the complete sentence yet. They only know it was about them, and they know the person who heard it never forgot it. That alone has left your soulmate wondering what you could possibly have said during a moment when you had no reason to hide your true feelings. Something huge is waiting for you, because this sentence could finally explain why you stayed silent, why that connection affected you so deeply, and why your soulmate now feels that they misunderstood one of the most important chapters between you. And when those exact words are finally revealed, they may discover something they never expected. The truth they have been searching for was never about whether you felt something. It was about just how deeply that feeling reached. Then the sentence your soulmate had been waiting to hear was finally revealed, and suddenly every unanswered moment between you carried a completely different meaning. You had once admitted that what affected you most was not the distance itself, it was knowing that someone could matter so deeply to you while never fully realizing what was happening inside your heart. Don't skip, because your soulmate was not prepared for that truth. They had imagined countless explanations for your silence, but never this one. Suddenly they understood that you had not become guarded because the connection meant too little. You became guarded because it meant enough for you to protect what you felt. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate started replaying every moment when you almost opened up, and now they can finally see the pattern. The closer you came to revealing your deepest emotions, the quieter you became. And that realization left them with one unforgettable question: how different would everything have been if they had understood you sooner? But what came next was even more surprising. Instead of feeling relieved that the mystery had finally been explained, your soulmate became even more curious about everything you never said. Don't skip. They began wondering whether there were other moments when you wanted to tell them the truth but stopped yourself. They remembered your voice changing during certain conversations. They remembered the way you sometimes looked away when emotions became too real. They remembered how quickly you could turn a meaningful moment into an ordinary conversation, almost as if you were protecting something precious from being exposed too soon. Something huge is waiting for you, because your soulmate now realizes those moments were not random. They were pieces of a story they were only seeing from the outside. And now that they finally know about your hidden pain, they can see what was underneath. You wanted to be understood, but you never wanted to force someone to understand you. And now the story has reached a place your soulmate never expected. Stay till the end, because the truth has created one final shift inside them. They are no longer wondering whether your silence meant you had forgotten everything. They are wondering whether they were supposed to learn something from it. Don't skip, because one realization keeps getting stronger. The person they thought they understood may have been carrying an entire emotional world they never truly saw. And strangely, that knowledge has not made the connection feel more distant. It has made every memory feel closer. Your soulmate is now looking back at you with a completely different understanding, and there is one question they cannot silence anymore. If they were given one more chance to truly listen, what would you finally tell them? Something huge is waiting for you, because the answer to that question may reveal the deepest truth of all, the reason this connection kept returning to their mind even after they believed the story was already over. And just when your soulmate thought they finally understood everything, one last detail changed the entire story again. They discovered that there was something you never allowed yourself to say, even during the moments when your heart came closest to revealing everything. Don't skip, because this wasn't simply another hidden feeling. It was the reason you kept protecting your emotions even when part of you wanted to be completely understood. You had reached a point where words no longer felt enough. You wanted actions, awareness, and genuine understanding to speak louder than explanations. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate now realizes that every time you became quiet, you weren't necessarily closing a door. Sometimes you were waiting to see whether they would notice it was still open. And that realization has made one question impossible for them to ignore. How many opportunities were hidden inside moments they once considered ordinary? Suddenly, your soulmate started remembering you differently. Not as the person who became distant, but as the person who carried more emotion than they ever showed. Don't skip. They remembered your patience. They remembered those brief moments when your guard disappeared and something incredibly genuine appeared in your expression. And now one particular memory keeps returning. A moment when they felt an unusual closeness with you but never understood why it felt so powerful. Something huge is waiting for you, because they finally understand that you may have been feeling that same intensity while saying almost nothing. The truth about your hidden pain has completely changed the meaning of that memory. What once seemed like a passing moment now feels like evidence that something deeper existed beneath everything neither of you explained. And your soulmate cannot stop wondering whether you remember that moment too. But now comes the revelation that could change everything they believe about what happened between you. Stay till the end. Someone told your soulmate that even after you became guarded, there was one thing about them you never completely let go of, the memory of how they once made you feel understood. Don't skip, because that truth affected them more than anything else they had heard. They suddenly realized that their smallest act may have reached your heart at a time when you desperately needed genuine understanding. And now they are facing a truth they never expected. Perhaps the reason this connection still feels unfinished is not because of everything that went wrong, but because of one meaningful thing that once felt completely right. Something huge is waiting for you, because your soulmate is approaching one final decision inside their heart. They can continue treating these memories as something that belongs to the past, or they can finally acknowledge what the truth has been showing them all along. And the thought forming inside them now is something nobody expected when your hidden pain was first revealed. Now your soulmate has reached the realization they were trying to avoid, and it is stronger than anything they expected. Don't skip, because after hearing the truth about your hidden pain, they can no longer pretend those old moments meant nothing. They keep returning to one question: why does understanding you now feel more powerful than knowing you then? Suddenly, your silence makes sense. Your guarded heart makes sense. Even those moments when you seemed perfectly fine now carry another meaning. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate finally understands that you were not asking for impossible promises, you wanted emotional honesty. You wanted someone to notice the difference between your ordinary silence and the silence that was hiding something deeper. And now that they can finally see that difference, they wish they had recognized it sooner. But then something completely unexpected happened inside them. Instead of only feeling regret about what they missed, they began imagining what they would do differently if they ever had another meaningful moment with you. Don't skip. They would listen longer. They would notice the pauses. They would stop assuming that your strongest smile meant everything was fine. Most importantly, they would ask the question they should have asked before: what are you really trying to tell me? Something huge is waiting for you, because that question has become impossible for them to forget. Your soulmate now realizes there may have been an entire conversation hidden beneath the conversations you actually had. Every unfinished sentence, every hesitation, every moment when your eyes stayed longer than your words, suddenly all of it feels connected. And here is the twist that changes what comes next. Stay till the end, because your soulmate has learned one more thing. There was a reason you never completely explained what they meant to you. You wanted the truth to be understood, not simply heard. Don't skip, because now they finally understand the difference. Hearing words would have given them information, but understanding your silence has forced them to see the emotional weight behind those words. And now something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate is standing at an invisible crossroads inside their heart. Leave everything as an unanswered memory, or finally acknowledge that this connection affected both of you more deeply than they once believed. But before that inner decision becomes clear, one final truth about your hidden pain is about to surface, and this truth explains why your heart chose silence at the exact moment it had the most to say.